Yeah.
I'd say that's pretty amazing. So, okay, gift of God, carried by God is going to interview gift of God. That's pretty amazing.
Hey, I'm just saying the Greek origin of my name. So
Fair
it's
enough.
true.
Yeah,
It's
fair enough. Well, there's so much, Dorothy. Welcome to the Empower Network, first of all, but there's so much in the names because the more we journey and discover, the more we all end up finding out that words matter and the words we speak, literally life or death. And so it's like every time someone says Dorothy, they're saying gift of God.
true.
They literally are. So when people, you will manifest that once you realize that. And then I'm sure you look back in your life and you go, wow, like words are powerful. They're not trite things.
Absolutely.
Well, welcome to
Very
the Empower Network. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
very conscious of my words.
If you're watching this, I'm interviewing Dorothy Knight. She's a very fun woman who has all of this knowledge and experience that we'll be talking about this on the Empower Network today. Dorothy, thank you for being here. As when had talked about this, we've never talked like this before. The first one of the word that came to mind when I was like, okay, we're gonna do this, gonna interview her. I was like, this is gonna be so fun because you're so playful, and I think that's amazing. So.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for being here. How do you want to start this process? Because you have quite the story of being in corporate world and then this major life change. And now you're doing coaching through different modalities. Where would you like your story to begin?
I think my story is like most people's story, really, right? And it's the process of remembering who we really are. So we spend our whole lifetime, you know, buying into stories, being conditioned into belief systems, and that plays itself out later in life as holding patterns and the way we react to life rather than respond to life, right? Everything in life becomes very autopilot and we just go through the motions, 9 to 5, living for the weekend. And I was one of those people too. So, very much an A type personality. I had no idea what I wanted to be when I was older. I knew I wanted to help people. And I took my father's advice actually. And he, because of his own failed dreams, wanted to be a police officer, but he had a knee injury, didn't pass the physical. So he said, "Why don't you be a cop?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I like justice. I'm there for the little guy. Okay, let's pursue this path." So that's what my path was in the beginning. So very much focused into becoming a police officer. So first went into law and security administration in college, and first jobs were security jobs. They were great jobs as a student because you got paid to do your homework. And all of that just led to this 10-year tenure in like risk management and corporate security. And I actually did work for the police as a civilian doing criminal background checks of all things. And I was in a long-term relationship with a police officer as well. And I've seen how the environment, the job, the hours, the things that police officers are exposed to really impact them.
Hmm.
And the shift work, number one, was very difficult on my body. And yeah, I just became very disenchanted with the whole thing. And it led me I still stayed in corporate for a little while, but the universe decided for me because I feel like I'm a cat with 9 lives. I only have so many lives left, but I'm here to tell the tale. So it took a motorcycle accident back in 2008 to really literally knock some sense into my head. I suffered from a concussion. And considering it was a motorcycle accident, I only fractured, not even broke, fractured my pelvis and my ankle. So this was the most first devastating thing that could have ever happened to me because it was literally like someone just like grinded my gears and just put everything into a halt. I was training for a triathlon. I just got promoted in my job. I was dating this younger guy, I had such a need for speed, hence the motorcycles. And here I was bedridden and not able to do any of those things for I don't know how long. So it was really interesting because when you are put in a position where you're forced, it was kind of like COVID, right? Like when we were all just put into isolation and being with ourselves. So it's very similar in that sense, where just being in bed, not being mobile, first of all, is terrible. And then, I try to fill the time just keeping busy, or reading books, watching movies, and then you can only do that for so long. So as I lay there, suddenly I felt like my soul just nudging, like, knock, knock, hi. And I was like, yeah, message received. Yep, I know. And it was like, well, why are you here? And who is Dorothy? And what is Dorothy here to do? Are you finally going to listen? Because I didn't listen the last time. I didn't listen the last time. Like, how many times are you going to replay this cycle? Like, now's your chance to really begin anew. And second of all, because I suffer from a concussion, my crown chakra, my energy center, was really open. So for those of you that do plant medicine, I've never done this stuff, but like any kind of psychedelics and stuff, I had this on the real, like natural kind of experience on the daily. And it was very difficult to, I would say, almost assimilate back into everyday life, because I really saw what we were and are. I could start to see energy. I started to see auras. I really felt the pure energy and this unconditional love. But I didn't understand it yet, right? So it was very overwhelming. And I had to learn how to dial it down
Mm.
to survive in this kind of matrix, still in this dimensional aspect of reality, right? So fortunately, the beautiful things about this were that I couldn't train for my triathlon anymore. So I found myself crawling into a yoga studio, and I was just so blown away by the simplicity and complexity of the yoga practice. And I've been with it ever since. And it was just so powerful to bring awareness and movement and breath, and like syncing those together, body, mind, and spirit all the time. So then this later just took me down a whole rabbit hole into taking better care of myself. Even though I was young at the time, it was still like, well, I had tension headaches, I had premature arthritis, I had PCOS, and I was like, I'm going to heal these things. I can heal this. I can be better. I know I can be better. And I did. I healed every single ailment. And that led me later to studying to become a yoga teacher. And my yoga teacher was studying to become a Reiki master. And she did a session on me and said, you need to be doing this too. And I'm like, nah, not me. I'm just going to do the yoga thing for now. And sure enough, a year later, I was studying with her master as well. And that just very quickly all fell into alignment for me. And yeah, I became a Reiki master and opened a couple practices in Mississauga pre-pandemic. And I closed them down right before everything happened, luckily. So then that
Wow.
brought me into an online space. Like, here we are, right? So I think that was too like one of the greatest blessings in disguise, because I was used to serving a small group geographically, which was beautiful. I built a beautiful community, but it was only people that could come and see me. And now all of a sudden, I'm talking to people in Australia, and I'm working with clients in Europe, and like the became a global village. And I find people like yourself, right? Like, we've really made the world a small place. And I think that's a good thing in a way. But I think it's also very important that we don't lose touch point. So I feel we're going to keep living in this hybrid system for a while. It's going to be interesting to see how this all pans out in the next few years, because some people are very comfortable with online. Some people are really craving in person. And I luckily am able to hold space and offer both. So it's been fun. It's been quite
That's,
an adventure.
that's what comes to me when I think of you and I see your posts. I go, this woman is fun. Fun is like a banner that you literally wear, the banner of fun. So anyone, okay, so people watching, they've heard your story. You had a major incident happen that shook you literally to the core in the crown. And then you awakened to a bunch of things you never explored. And now let's talk about what you do then. So you work with men, women, both, and you offer what? You offer coaching, just talk about all the things you do now.
Yeah, so there's various approaches to work with me. And I first started out as a Reiki healer, right? So just working with people in terms of helping them understand their energy. And I
Right.
always ask people, I don't say, how are you? I'm like, how's your energy today? How's your energy? How are you feeling? How's your energy though? And then I could be like, how's your energy on the daily? I'm like, well, not so great. Why? Why isn't it so great? So what's pulling you out of alignment from being in that optimal state of health and well-being? So in terms of an energy session, for example, it would be just reading the person's energy field, seeing if there's any distortions, any cracks, any imbalances, any weaknesses, because we are all broadcasting, right? Our frequency every single day. And a lot of us don't even know what that is and what is our energy. What do we embody exactly? And that's the whole healing process because our energy fields, our auras are electromagnetic. So it's like we're walking refrigerators, right? And it's magnetic. So everything and everything, everyone's stuff will stick to us as well if we don't
Mm.
own that energy, if we don't clear away all of that energetic debris and these residuals and these patterns and these belief systems and these fears that are collectively being projected onto us. We have no idea. Sometimes we feel like, man, I feel so sad. I feel so depressed. I have low energy. And I'm like, you know what? That may not even be yours. Tell me, do you work in an office? Do you work with people every day? Are you an empath? Do you feel people's energy? Do you take on other people's stuff? So it's even just coming into a place of self awareness and self mastery in terms of energy mastery. So we can decipher what's ours and what isn't as we go out and about in the world every day.
So is it,
So,
Dorothy, is it like we're a fridge and we have contents in the fridge and then people, we come into contact and then sometimes or maybe oftentimes stuff, whether they're meaning to or not, but stuff gets put in our fridge from
yeah,
all these other people, and then you wake up and your fridge is full of contents that, number one, you didn't know you were allowing, and number two, might be hurting you, and at very
absolutely.
least are affecting you. So what do you do? Okay, so so many questions I want to ask you, but because some people are not even aware, like I wasn't a number of years ago aware that like everything has a frequency and can be measured with actual scientific instruments now. So it's not hocus pocus.
Mhm.
When you or I are thinking certain thoughts, they can actually measure that with instruments because we're broadcasting. So there's people that, you know, depending where they are on that, I won't don't want to ask you that because that's another topic for another time, maybe a roundtable actually. Oh, but what I do want to ask you is what do you do when stuff's in your fridge and you're like, okay, I don't know how this stuff got here, but I want it out. What do you do when you're carrying something you don't want to carry?
Yeah, so when I work with someone, I will assess their energy field. Like I said, I'll find any distortions or cracks or imbalances. And oftentimes, if we do feel overwhelmed and we are buying into other people's belief systems or the ones that are programmed within us, there will be a crack in the auric field because that's where the projection's coming in. Or it's a holding pattern. So it could be from inner childhood trauma, it could be from any trauma, really, because the body never forgets. The ego likes to think, "Oh, I'm over it. I'm good. That was so many years ago." And that's the stuff I really love to deep dive into with clients because I'm like, "Oh, I just want to turn over a new leaf and start over." And I'm like, "No, man, we got to turn over the whole tree. We got to look at the roots of all of this stuff." And a lot of it's really old stuff and it's generational too. That's where I do generational healing, where we can override the epigenetics of things, right? I can't change my eye color, but I can definitely change how I respond to a certain behavior, to a certain trigger. So that's part of the work that I would do. So, for example, in the first session, assess the energy field. I will work through all of the energy centers to find any blocks, any imbalances, any holding patterns, any trauma, any places and spaces that we're not even aware of, because so much of what we do on the daily is subconscious and from unconscious places, right? We think we're conscious, but it's a lot of subconscious and unconscious actions that we go through. That's that autopilot.
Mm.
So a great sign to know that you are in your energy, you are in your alignment, is things just flow for you. They happen synchronistically. You are in a place of balance with your masculine aspects and your feminine qualities, right? They're in together, and you're not chasing. Life is happening for you and to you, and you know that. You are in this beautiful state and balance where you're oscillating. It's like a dance with the universe where you know when to take divinely inspired action, but you also know when to retreat, when to be in a receptive state, when to trust divine timing, when to surrender.
Wow.
So you should never, ever, ever feel tired. 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 There's no such thing as tired. If you have energy, you own your energy, you know how to manage your energy and run that energy on the daily, you will never be tired. You will never be depleted. If you're depleted, that's the first sign your body's telling you, hey, something's out of alignment. We're not in balance. What's going on? And that's an invitation and an initiation to further self inquiry. Why am I tired? Why am I angry? Why am I so afraid? Why am I holding myself back? All of those things become self-sabotaging mechanisms. So
You've hit some serious things on the head.
that's what I do.
I just want to sit for a second with that. That's okay, because a
Sure.
lot of people do not feel in alignment. I would
Mhm.
guess that it's a high percentage
Yep.
people that they're, and I'm not faulting or blaming them. I get it. I've been there. You're chasing because it's from a place of I don't have, something's wrong, I lack. So it's constantly looking externally. I have to find and then I'll be happy. I have to find and then I'll be happy. Shit is messed up in here. So how does a person even come to recognize that they might need to get inquisitive? Because we can normalize to trauma, Dorothy. That can become a very normal thing, that where it's all we know is trauma or all we know is lack.
Mhm.
You've obviously coached people. What do you find is the key things that helps them switch to where they put their hand up and go, okay, either I have to get curious or get some help with this? What are key indicators of people that are ready to cross over to the next level?
Ooh, crossover. I love that. Okay, so here's the deal. This healing thing, this self-awareness piece, it's you're always going to maintain self-awareness. That's where all our power is, right? That's the now time, mindfulness, this moment. That's all there is right now, actually, is this moment.
Hmm.
That alone, that realization is so empowering, because if you find that your thoughts are drifting into the past, you're dwelling, you're holding on to something, and that's keeping you from moving forward in life. If you're always in a state of anxiety, you're anticipating something like, oh, you're always like a day, years, months, whatever it is ahead, you're in a state of anticipation and anxiety. You're projecting things into the future that haven't even happened yet. And whenever we do that, we're not in our alignment. We're not fully physically even and in our awareness in our bodies. I always ask people, where did you just go? Where did you go? I was just talking to you. Where did you go? Did you go to the past or did you go to the future? Are you really here right now? Because everything is here. When you're fully here, you are fully in your power because you're present, you're aware, you're relishing in this ever unfolding moment. That's life, and that's moment to moment to moment. And you don't need to know 5 steps ahead. If you know who you are, if you know what your path is, if you know what your purpose is, you know that each step has an intention and you're going where you're supposed to be going. And everybody, wherever you are on your path right now, take a load off. Okay, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And that sounds cliche, but you really are exactly where you're supposed to be right now. right now. And there's no wrong, there's no right. Life is an experience. You're an avatar. You get to up level as much as you want. So all of us have
That's
a
so good.
beautiful master timeline, I call it. This is like your soul's blueprint. And if you're a coach, you've got that blueprint. You're here to fulfill it. That's why you do what you do. You feel that calling, and your soul will never stop knocking until you answer that call. You'll always be seeking those answers. First, for yourself. Why am I here? What do I need to release to make space for something higher vibrational and better that's in alignment with the highest timeline, with my highest alignment to serve? When you step into that position, into that reality and experience, that's what it becomes every day. You're not in that state of scarcity mindset because you're here to serve. So if you're here to serve and you're serving from your heart space, abundance is there. It's always there because you're supported, right? That's a whole mind thing here. It's a whole belief system here that we all of us collectively are shifting from right now. And you can manifest through fear, you can manifest forcefully, but those things are not going to be long-term manifestations either. And that word manifestation starts to drive me crazy because it's so overused and misunderstood. So the law of attraction is what I said before. You have to fully be in your masculine and feminine energies, and you need to know when to oscillate between the two. Boom, 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 boom. So I hope that makes sense. And what was the original question you asked me? How do we know? How do we know?
Well, first of all, what you just did for the last
I just flow.
2 minutes,
Words just
it was so poetic and creative. I just say it's like it's the most delicious. I was just eating a delicious meal in my ears with what you were saying. So thank you, first of all, for what you just blessed us with. It was flipping amazing. I don't know what I asked you before, but you just did it. Dorothy, what you're talking about and explaining for people to get to this place, you fucking just demonstrated it. You just flowed in what you're talking about. The last 2 minutes was you demonstrating getting out of fear and anxiousness. You were totally present and you just flowed for 2 or 3 minutes. You weren't stumbling. You weren't saying ums and ahs. You weren't in fear. You were absolutely locked in, and you were just dancing in the moment. That was beautiful.
dancing with you.
That was absolutely amazing. So Dorothy, how can people reach out to you? I'm going to tag you in this, but how would you like them? Is there a website? Is there, sorry, I'm still just taking this in. Is it a website? Is it, how do you want them to hit you up? Facebook?
I just want to say one more thing before I sign off with you all, but the greatest thing that what you can do, whatever modalities you practice, whatever you do, whatever tools you have, the more tools you have, the better. Absolutely. But it's actually quite simple. I just say, sit with it. Sit with it. So in this now moment, if you get triggered, welcome that trigger as your greatest teacher and go and sit with it. You may not be able to sit with it in that moment as it's happening because you're maybe having a conversation with someone at work, but don't forget to address it right away. Don't brush it away. Don't sweep it back under the rug. Sit with it. There is so much wisdom in all of those triggers because those triggers are that storyline that you are living out, and you're here to write a better story. So that's how I help work with you. And you can definitely connect with me on my website. So there's dorothyknightreiki.ca. In terms of working specifically with women and with mothers, it's 5dmom.com. And all of these links are in the link in my Facebook profile. So you can find everything there. Lots of fun stuff too, lots of resources. I'm all about embodiment. And I think that we really overcomplicate very simple things to existence. And if we just come back into natural law, we figure out and fine tune our own rhythms and our cycles. That's where we begin to, dance with the rhythm, with the pulse of life. And life becomes a lot of fun. You get to co-create with the universe every single day. It's a conscious choice you get to make on this beautiful playground, this paradise called Earth. And your soul chose to be on this planet at this specific time right now because you have gifts, you have skills, and you have beautiful service, heart-led service to offer to others. So if you're not in that space right now, what are you doing? What are you doing and what is keeping you back? And that's where, please sit with it. The inner child wounding, the shadow work, the trauma, whatever it is, that is not you. That's not you either. And you did nothing wrong. You did nothing wrong. The universe, source, creator, God, whatever you resonate with, has chosen you and made you with love so that you can remember to come back into that love, which is unconditional love. And when you're in that space, you're unstoppable. You're unstoppable. What can't you do?
Mic drop.
This is so fun. I could do this with you every day.
This is absolutely amazing.
Great questions too. I feel like I'm going to meet you in person.
Well, we will do that, even though we're on polar opposite coasts, almost. Dorothy, you are an absolute gift. And
Thank you.
you said at the beginning of this call, your name means
Gift of God.
you are a gift of God.
Thank
And
you.
for those of you that prefer a different word, insert the different word. You are an absolute gift. Thank you for being a gift today. To those watching the Power Network on the podcast, YouTube, wow, I'm gonna think on this. And my energy just from talking with you, I had an amazing interview before this for different reasons. I was feeling tired when I got on this call. I was so happy about what's going on in my life, but I was tired. I didn't sleep a lot last night. I was like, okay, I want to show up in good energy. And from the moment we started this, and it's even climbed throughout the call, and to experience the gift you are, and to experience what you're carrying, radiating, embodying, for those that are able to receive this, I hope they just open their arms and receive what you're saying with love and take whatever they can take, because there's so many gifts you've just given us.
Thank you for that beautiful reflection. And thank you so much for showing up the way that you do each and every single day for everybody that you serve every single day. You show up with such authenticity, integrity, and soul purpose. And I feel that, and I know that, and everyone that's with you on this journey too, they resonate with that. So keep shining bright and keep doing what you're doing. It's truly an honor to have connected with you in this place and space. And it's also just such an honor to be serving with you in this place and time on Earth. So much love and appreciation and gratitude for you.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for having me on this show.
It's very mutual. Thank you for watching the Empower Network. Dorothy Knight, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of the group. Wow, there is fantastic people in this group. I am honored.
Yeah, I see that.
All right, we'll sign off for now, and we'll see you all soon. Ciao for now, Dorothy.
Ciao for now.